Hey friends, it's Zuri, yoga teacher and FRC mobility specialist. I have a 28-minute yoga and mobility sequence for you today, and it's perfect for all levels. We'll move the entire body. All we need are maybe 2 yoga blocks, not totally necessary, and your body. So let's get going. We're going to begin standing today. First and foremost, connecting to our breathing pattern. Take a moment to find your foundation, pressing into the base of your 2 feet, and bring your hands to your lower belly. Breathe out to your hands, and just observe the breath there. And just soften the belly as you breathe. Move one hand to your lower back, one hand stays at your lower belly. Can you breathe evenly to your front and back body? And just observing what's really moving when you breathe. Move the hands out to each side of the rib cage or high above the waist, and breathe out to your hands there. Breathing the width of your trunk and experiencing your entire core as a cylinder. Maybe visualizing that you can breathe the wide circumference of that cylinder. Go ahead and relax the hands down. Bring the awareness back to the feet. Just begin to shift the weight forward and back, lifting the heels. Let's just get to know the feet a little bit more, really getting to know the foundation of where we are right now. You can start to move into the inner edges, the outer edges of the feet, maybe drawing some circles. Get creative here. Check it out. You can add a little momentum, see how much your heels can lift. It's totally okay if you lose your balance because it's how we learn to create stability. Don't be afraid to find your edge and be playful. Then we're going to slow that rocking down and seal the feet and toes firmly into the ground. But can you keep moving around the edges of the feet without lifting the toes anymore or the corners of the feet? Just do the best you can. Maybe it feels like your pelvis is drawing circles around the feet. Circle in both directions. Maybe notice how your ankles feel. Maybe slow those circles down to stand in a relaxed Tadasana, mountain pose. Tuck the chin and press an invisible button on your chest for spinal segmentation. Begin to very, very slowly roll down your spine, finding each segment and each joint along the way. This is very slow, a controlled energetic spill. And then you can hang out like a rag doll once you get all the way down there. You can sway a little bit if that feels good. We come up with the same control. Feel how your feet push the ground away and the energy travels up the body as you stack each joint. As you get to the top, continue to lift through the spine and let the forearms casually face forward, continuing to lift the chest and chin into a small back bend. Come back to center, tuck the chin back into the chest, find that invisible button to press down. Very, very slowly begin to articulate each vertebra as you roll down. Make this one a little more controlled than the first one. Go ahead and relax down there. The feet are grounded, but you can sway the trunk if you want. And to come back up, we firmly press the feet into the ground, push the ground away, slowly stacking the joints. Find my spinal segmentation video to practice this a little bit more, by the way. Let's go sideways now. Slide your left hand down the left leg, folding over at your side, just until you can't anymore, noticing the length on the right side of your trunk. And slide back up and take the right hand down the side of the right leg, just hanging out sideways. Come back up. And now we're going to tilt the pelvis. Now this might look and feel a little weird, but it's important to mobilize the pelvis. Just lift your tailbone as high as you can so the butt is lifting, and then tuck your tailbone as much as you can. See if you can do that again. And then find the middle of those two positions, staying somewhere neutral. And next we'll bend the knees and find a variation of Utkatasana chair pose. Take a breath in. And exhale, maybe to sit a little lower, arms a little higher. Stand back up. Let's do that again. Sit down a little bit, take a breath, and then sit a little more. This isn't about finding a perfect chair pose, it's more about experiencing the hinge occurring at the hips every time we sit down. Let's do that again. The arms don't have to reach too high. Stay in this Utkatasana variation if you can a little longer. Just breathe there. Go ahead and fold over the legs now. Relax for a moment. If you have 2 blocks or books or tennis balls, grab them now or just make 2 fists. If you are holding something, grip it tight using mostly your finger grip or just squeeze your hands. Bring the arms forward and into a wide V. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, pulling the blocks in. Push the arms forward, the shoulder blades separate. Pull back, squeeze your shoulder blades in, push the blocks forward, and this time lift the shoulder blades high up to the ears. Keep them high as you squeeze them back together. Keep them together as you pull them down the back. Keep them down as you push forward again, and then back up. Squeeze behind, slide them down, slide them forward, reverse, squeezing back, up, forward, down, squeeze back, lift it up, forward, and down. Align the arms together again, and just lift the right arm up into a big circle. You're still gripping that block, sweep it forward, and then reverse the circle. Controlled movement. Left arm this time. Whatever you're gripping, grip it well or just make that fist. So this is still a nice warm-up for the hands too. Both arms come up. Give your items to the ceiling. Whatever you're holding, reach high. And then go ahead and lift the heels a couple of times, up and down, until maybe you can find a little balance and just continue to give those props to the ceiling a little bit more. See if you find the balance there. Then bend the knees, bring the heels back down. Let's do those same circles, but this time we're just in a little chair pose. Go ahead and bring the left arm up this time, circle it around. Reverse. Great. Place the blocks on the floor and your palms flat over the blocks for wrist stretches. Now, if you don't have blocks, you can do this in tabletop position on the floor. That's where we're going next anyway. All right, let's come down to tabletop if you haven't already. I'm just setting a blanket under my knees. You can do the same if you want. My knees appreciate it. I don't know about yours. And we'll continue to move the wrists and hands here, stretching all sides of the wrist, the back of the hand, rotating in different directions. Remember not to continue any movements that feel uncomfortable, and know that your movements will look different than mine. We will all look different from one another. Remember that. We're going to move on to some heel raises at the wrist. Try to lift the thumbs up too. Lifting the heel of the wrist and dropping back down. If this seems impossible, just do one at a time. Be mindful. I'll definitely make a video with this one soon. If you feel good to continue, come onto the backs of your hands, fingers pointing in towards each other, and bend the elbows away as you lower the chest. Press into the back of the hands as you lift the trunk back up, and repeat this action, lowering down a couple of times here. This is a lot of work for the forearms and the back of the wrist, so just explore the angles that feel accessible to you. You turn the fingers to face forward, and let's segment the spine here. Lifting the tail first, slowly. The gaze is going to come forward last. Try to make it like a wave. Keep the head up and tuck the tail first, slowly moving into cat pose. Waving the spine one more time. And from there, we'll find a neutral spine, a neutral trunk. Bring the left leg back and then lift that foot off the floor. Bend the knee. Stabilize your trunk as you draw 2 circles as best as you can with your hip and knee. Keep the chest up and away from the floor. And if you know hip cars, which are different than circles, do this as hip cars instead. Hip cars are going to be a specific controlled articulation. Right? But if you haven't done hip cars, just circle around. And then at some point, we're going to pause with the leg lifted like a dog does over a hydrant, and then step the left leg out perpendicular to your mat. Lift the left arm off the mat to rotate the trunk. Maybe reach that left arm up and over by the ear. Breathe into the sides of your body. And then reach the left arm back up. Squeeze the left shoulder blade for a pec stretch. Go ahead and find the mat again. Move back into a kneeling position with the left leg still out. Place hand at the hips for a moment and drive energy down both legs, including the outer edge of your left foot. Press that foot actively down, reach the crown of your head tall, and bring the arms out into a T. Can you find the right hand to either the floor or a block leaning over the right side of the hip? Can you come back up? If that felt okay, explore it again. As you come back up this time, let your left hand find the side of your left leg. The right arm continues to reach up and over for Parigasana, gate pose. Ground the right thigh down into the ground. Come back up and do it again. With intention and energy, left arm travels down the left leg. See what it's like to lift the left arm away from the leg as you draw the trunk back to center. Bend the left knee and rotate the foot out, leaning into that low lunge. Then we're going to tell the right thigh that it's the strongest one so that you can play with lifting the left knee as you carefully hop the foot forward into a lunge. Hands to the hips. Lift and tuck your tailbone a couple of times. So yes, it is like a little balance, so we do get a little playful here. Go ahead and then keep the tailbone pointing down or tucked. Maybe squeeze the right thigh and glute muscles. Press the left foot into the mat and pretend to slide it backward. You might feel the back of your thigh engage or not. Then bring your arms forward, moving into a cat pose variation. Tuck the chin, fingers reach forward, widening the upper back. Lift the chest and do that again. Round forward. We're moving into a high lunge now, or you can stay low. Tuck the right toes, hands come to the hips for stability, and then lift that right knee off the mat. Again, keep it on the floor if that feels better. If the knee is up, straighten the right knee and let the pelvis tilt forward. The tail can lift. Rebend the knee and point your tail down. Straighten the knee and rebend. Keep the knee bent if you can, or back to the floor. Arms come forward and round your spine again. Arms down as you look up. 2 more times. Round and look up. Round. And then open your right arm, moving to Virabhadrasana, Warrior 2. Take your time. Now let's explore this Warrior 2 a little bit. Can you allow your left thigh or knee to roll in and out a couple of times? This might feel a little interesting. Just observe what occurs. And then where's the middle of all that movement? Come back to your warrior 2. Reverse your warrior. Viparita Virabhadrasana. The right arm might find the back leg or hip. The left arm reaches up and back. Return to your warrior 2. Then bring the right arm forward as you pivot the right foot, coming into a kneeling position. Heel toe or hop the left foot back to the side. For a petite side angle pose variation, the right arm reaches up and over, and then it sweeps back down to the ground, moving to tabletop position. Move the spine in any way that feels good here. And then when you're ready, maybe lift to downward facing dog. Rest whenever you need, or stay and move around a little bit, maybe pedal the knees. Come back down to tabletop and extend one leg at a time to stretch out the knees or any movement that feels okay before we continue. All right, let's bring the right leg back in tabletop position. Lift the right leg off the ground. Take a moment to feel stable. Bend the knee and begin to circle that right hip 2 times. Or articulate your hip cars, which are a little different. You'll see in my hip cars video if you haven't already. Maintain the energy in the arms. Lift the breastbone up and away from the ground. Once you're done, lift the right hip up to step the right foot out perpendicular to your mat. Toes point forward. Reach the right arm up to rotate the trunk. Maybe reach the right arm by the ear and hips away from the right fingers. Bring the right hand back down and move into a partial kneeling position. So that right leg is still out. You just can't see it in the video too well. Place the hands at the hips, lengthen the spine, and press the legs down into the ground. Take a moment to press the whole right foot down, thinking of pressing into the pinky toe too. Find the arms into a T, and then explore bringing the left hand down towards the floor, tipping over the left outer hip. Come back up. And explore it one more time if that felt okay. Bring the right arm down the right leg for Parigasana, gate pose. Left arm is nicely engaged as the shoulder flexes up towards the ear. Come back up and find that gate pose one more time. Come back to center and control the right leg as you lift, playing with your balance, setting it forward into a lunge. It's meant to be explorative and playful. Go ahead and tilt the pelvis forward and back here a couple of times. And then stay with the tail pointing down. Squeeze the muscles of the left thigh. Isometrically slide the right heel back so it's just an engagement. Arms forward, round the spine, tuck the chin. Bring the gaze back up and then round the spine again, hugging the heart back and in. Lift back up and hug in one more time. Let's come up to that high lunge again, or just keep the back knee down. Take a moment to feel grounded when you come up onto that right foot. Straighten the left leg. The pelvis can tilt forward. Can you contract your left glute? Rebend that left knee, making sure to come onto the ball of the left foot, then straighten the knee again. Rebend. Stay here or lower down to the mat. Arms forward, round the spine again. Lift your gaze. And round the spine again. Lift your gaze. And let's round one more time. Open the left arm up, coming into Virabhadrasana, Warrior 2. And we'll explore this shape again here, allowing the right thigh to roll in and back a couple of times. The foot can roll into the edges too, so just explore that there. And what's it like to come back to your warrior two pose? Reverse warrior. Place the right hand down the back of the leg or hip, reaching the right arm up. Let the right shoulder blade glide up high towards the ear if you can. Back to warrior two. Bring the left arm forward, pivot the left heel, coming back down into a kneeling position. Open the arms to a T. The right foot moves to the right side. The right elbow comes to the thigh for a short side angle pose. The left arm comes up. Bring the hands back down, lifting up to downward facing dog. Take your time to get comfortable. You can pedal the knees, just push the ground away. And then lift the right leg up and back. Bend the right knee and rotate the trunk open, looking to the right. Return the pelvis in line with the trunk, and then circle the hip here 2 times in each direction. Or you can do it as a hip car. Step the right foot to the outside of the right wrist for a wide low lunge. Shift your weight to the left hand and rotate the right arm up. Parivrtta Parsvakonasana, revolved side angle pose. Feel free to bring that right arm up and over by the ear. Press into the feet to keep the pelvis buoyant and away from the ground. Place the hand back to the inside of the right foot. Drop the back foot. The left arm comes to the hip or towards the ceiling. Feel free to reach that top arm over by the ear again if you'd like to reach with a little intention here. Move the neck mindfully here if you can. And then bring the left hand down. Shift your weight onto the right foot, step the left foot forward into a squat pose, Malasana. Take your time. Press elbows out into the knees, press the knees back into the elbows. Release the hands down and fold over your wide leg stance. Lift your gaze forward and up, press into the feet to stand. Heel toe the feet together, coming to Tadasana, mountain pose. And enjoy a full breath there. On your next breath, sweep the arms up, fold over the pelvis. Lift your gaze forward, long spine, and then step back to downward facing dog. The left leg can lift up and back, bending the knee to add a rotation. Recenter the pelvis or come to tabletop position and articulate your hip rotations here, twice in each direction. Try to keep the movement just at the hips as best as you can. Step the left foot outside of the left wrist, wide low lunge. Bring the weight to the right hand, rotate the left arm up. Maybe the arm comes towards the ear, reaching with energy. Bring the hand back down to the inside of the left foot, drop the back heel. The right arm to the hip or up towards the ceiling, or over by the ear. Rotate the arm back to the floor, stepping forward again into Malasana, squat pose. Take a breath. And fold over the legs. Lift the gaze forward and up, press into the feet to stand. Keep the feet wide, heels in, toes out. Sweep the arms up, palms together, bend the knees, squat variation. Fold over the legs. Lift the gaze forward and adjust your feet to find that squat one more time. Stand up, push the ground away, hands reach up, perhaps finding Anjali Mudra. Bring the feet back together. Take a breath and relax the body. Just observe the breath there. Your eyes can be open or closed. Open the eyes, reach the arms up, fold over the legs. Lift the trunk forward and up, making space to step back to downward facing dog. Press the ground away, lifting the hips away from the arms. Bring the knees down and let's sit back on the mat. Bring your feet forward. Keep the knees bent, feet on the floor, and hug the knees. Then bring your hands away from the legs. Reach forward, tuck the chin, and see if you can segment your spine onto the mat as you come to lie down. It's a very slow, controlled action. Do the best you can. And stretch the legs out and arms out. Maybe squish your face too, no one's looking. And if it feels comfortable, bring the feet and hands up to the ceiling, allowing the hands and feet to dance a little bit up there. And see what it's like to just let those limbs relax while they hang upside down for a couple of breaths. Sort of like a mild inversion, if you will, of your limbs. Relax the breath. And then start to bring the feet back down. Maybe massaging the lower back with your knees bent, or just swaying the knees side to side. Any comfortable movement before we find our final resting shape. And when you're ready, relax completely, resting the arms and legs however you'd like. Bring the attention to the breath, perhaps closing the eyes. Allow the exhale to lengthen a little more. Feel free to stay here for as long as you'd like. And may all beings be happy and free.